Boris Johnson has won the race to become the next Tory leader and the Prime Minister of the UK. Johnson won the votes of over 92,000 members of the Conservative Party. His rival, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, secured less than 47,000 votes. Johnson will take over from Theresa May on Wednesday. Mrs. May stepped down due to repeated failure in sealing her Brexit deal. Remember, Brexit is a crucial subject for the new Prime Minister, and Johnson has promised to lead Britain out of the European Union. London Mayor Sadiq Khan on Tuesday advocated, in fact, and advised the new British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to have a cooler head on Brexit. Khan also warned Johnson against a catastrophic no-deal Brexit. Johnson will be replacing Theresa May as the British Prime Minister after winning the intra-party election. For the leadership of the Conservative Party, Johnson has pledged to negotiate a new deal with the European Union. If it fails, he has promised to lead the UK out of the bloc on the decided date of 31st of October, even if without a deal. Iran has said that it will be meeting with countries which are part of the troubled nuclear deal. Iran called itself the quote-unquote guardian of security. The meeting is going to be held by end of this week, aiming at salvaging the hard-won deal. The deal was thrown into uncertainties after US pulled out of the deal last year and has been imposing sanctions thereafter. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif arrived in the Bolivian city of Santa Cruz on Tuesday. He's at the last leg of his three-nation tour of Latin America. Zarif met with President Evo Morales and they exchanged gifts. The two discussed various multilateral issues as well as cooperation at the United Nations Security Council. Mauck Esper was sworn in as U.S.'s new Secretary of Defense on Tuesday. That ended the longest period of Pentagon being without a permanent top official. 55-year-old former soldier Esper was backed with a 90-8 vote by the Senate. Esper has previously served as a congressional aide and a Pentagon official under President George Washington Bush and has been the Army Secretary since November 2017. Defense Secretary post fell vacant after Jim Mattis resigned over policy differences with Trump on Tuesday. The last day of Pakistan Prime Minister U.S. visit, Imran Khan met U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. During the meet, ties between the two countries were discussed. Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Foreign Secretary were present during the meet. After this, Imran Khan participated in a moderated conversation at the United States Institute of Peace, which is a think tank affiliated with the U.S. Department of State. He departed after a meet with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. Former Chinese Premier Peng, also known as the Butcher of Beijing, was in his role for the Tiananmen Square crackdown, has died at the age of 90. The former chairman of the National People's Congress Standing Committee and died of an unspecified illness. Ex-premier had previously battled bladder cancer. Meanwhile, China has slammed foreign powers like the US and Britain for interfering in Hong Kong after China's foreign ministry spokeswoman said, and I quote here, "We advise the United States to take back their black hands in Hong Kong as early as possible," unquote. This comes after the UK government condemned the act of violence and expressed shock over the incidents that took place after the protests in Hong Kong. China is expanding its foreign ports, this time in Cambodia. According to a report, the two nations have inked a secret deal for a Chinese naval outpost in Cambodia. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen has agreed to host Chinese military assets at the naval base located in the Gulf of Thailand. The base has a strategic location in the South China Sea. Reports suggest that Cambodia will need China's permission to enter parts of the base. Cambodian Prime Minister has denied the report, saying that allowing an overseas post violates the country's constitution. However, the denial has failed to put an end to international concerns over the port. The Lima Group regional bloc on Tuesday called on the United Nations Security Council to discuss the situation in Venezuela. This after the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights released a report saying that Venezuelan security forces were murdering young men. The report added that the killing was part of Maduro government's strategy aimed at neutralizing, repressing and criminalizing political opponents. 12-nation Lima group called for nations to abandon support to Maduro and call for elections in the divided OPEC nation. The ongoing protest in Puerto Rico has begun to hit the island's economy, affecting the tourism industry the most. As per official estimates, the local businesses have suffered a loss of $3.25 million in the sales. 5 cruise ships cancelled their stoppage in the capital San Juan on Tuesday. International visitors have been avoiding coming into the island amidst a seldom violent protest. People have been calling for Governor Ricardo Rossello to resign after the vulgar chats were leaked online. UN said on Tuesday that the war in Yemen can be stopped, and UN envoy said that the war situation can be resolved once the Stockholm deal signed last December will be implemented. A 4-year war between Iran-aligned Houthi movement and a Saudi-backed coalition has killed thousands and left millions off the brink of famine. Envoy added that the UN-backed deal is the gateway to opening up negotiations on a political solution along with international support. Kenya's Finance Minister Henry Rotich on Tuesday has been charged with 2 corruption cases. He was charged with multi-million-dollar contracts for the construction of 2 dams in the country's west. However, Rotich has denied all claims on the alleged fraud cases. This is the first time a finance minister in East Africa's economic hub has been charged with while in office. Rotich and 14 other officials were arrested on Monday for their alleged roles in awarding contracts and payments to Italian firms. He was released on bail later on Tuesday. The Indian state of Karnataka witnessed the fall of the JDS-Congress alliance government. The government lost the trust vote after the ruling alliance fell 9 votes short of majority. There were 99 votes in favour of the government and 105 against it. The House strength then come down to 204. Meanwhile, the BJP began celebrating as the government fell out of power. The Karnataka BJP tweeted that it was an end of an unholy alliance and it was ready to provide a stable government to the people of the state. Two teenage boys first categorized as missing in northern Canada are now suspected in the murder of 2 Australian tourists and another unidentified man. 2 boys have been missing since July 19th and the car was found in flames near a lake in British Columbia. Bodies of the Australian couple were found on a highway some 500 kilometers away from the burning car, while the unidentified man's body was found just 2 kilometers away from the car. All 3 were shot dead. Police is investigating further into the case. A funeral procession was held on Tuesday for those killed after Nigerian police and Shiite Muslim protesters clashed in the capital, Abuja, on Monday. Islamic Movement of Nigeria members regularly take to the streets of Abuja to call for the release of Shiite cleric Ibrahim Zakzaki, who has been in detention since 2015. Now, in fact, protesters have been found dead after the clashes. A senior officer was killed and 3 other policemen were also injured during the protest. The U.S. Justice Department informed about opening a broad investigation into major digital technology funds on Tuesday. Investigation will look into whether and how the market-leading online platforms have clinched and achieved market power, managed to have reduced competition, or are otherwise harming consumers. The Trump administration has been stepping up its scrutiny of big tech companies, and the announcement comes a day before a $5 billion penalty to be sanctioned on Facebook. Hundreds of firefighters work to keep a wildfire in Arizona away from homes. They hope the changing weather might bring some relief. About 24 homes have been evacuated in Flagstaff, a popular mountain getaway, the largest pine forest in the U.S. Residents of another 5,000 homes have been told to be prepared to flee the fire in Coconico National Forest. Firefighters were expecting rain along the erratic winds that could shift the direction of the fire. Potential flooding has also been forecasted if enough rain falls on scarred mountain slopes. New York and New Jersey were hit with severe wind and rain, which triggered flash floods. The floods were expected to complicate the morning commute. Cars could be seen driving down flooded roads, and locals navigated soaked sidewalks. In New Jersey, over 2.5 lakh residents were without power, and about 18,000 customers were without power. In New York City, households were without power even when temperatures soared almost 40 degrees Celsius. As Paris sweltered under a severe heat wave, tourists took to the fountains in the front of the Eiffel Tower to cool down, attempting to beat the stifling heat. Tourists made the most of Paris City Beach and other places next to the river Seine. France's Met Department has forecasted temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius for the next couple of days, which is an all-time high in the city. Several parts of France have also been affected with drought, which could worsen with passing days. People in Paris have been bracing for potentially the hottest ever temperature rise. Paris is witnessing temperatures beyond 40 degrees Celsius. The severe heat is also expected to affect parts of Belgium, Luxembourg and Netherlands. Latest action, French police have introduced traffic restrictions on polluting vehicles in Paris as part of the capital. Record-breaking temperatures are expected to worsen later this week. Famous 50s actress Elizabeth Taylor's 1961 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 2 is going up for grabs in New York. Known as the Green Goddess, the car is being sold by the auction house at the Pierre Hotel on August 6th. The car is one of the approximately 20 left, and the drive silver could drop head couple. In fact, there is no opening bid set for the vehicle. The car is expected to give 5 times its normal value. Pair of 1972 Nike running shoes were sold for $437,500 on Tuesday, shattering the record for a pair of sneakers at a public auction. The so-called Nike Moon shoes were designed by Nike co-founder and track coach Bill Bowerman himself, especially for the 1972 Olympic trial runners. The buyer was a Canadian investor and a car collector, Miles Nadal. The work for a giant Fonda national park is underway in northwestern China. The park will include all the 12 giant Fonda nature reserves in Qingling area. It will take up an area of 27,000 square kilometers and will cover 3 mountains. There are about 345 pandas living in Qingling. This park will in fact also be home to over 8,000 other animals and plants.